Hey, my third grade mathematicians. Today we're going to continue to work on fractions. We're going to express whole number fractions on the number line when the unit interval is 1. So let's begin with our problem of the day. Ready, read. Lincoln drinks 1/8 gallon of milk every morning. A, how many days will it take Lincoln to drink 1 gallon of milk? Use a number line and words to explain your answer. And how many days will it take Lincoln to drink 2 gallons? Extend your number line to show 2 gallons and use words to explain your answer. So let's begin. What do we know? Yes, Lincoln drinks 1/8 gallon of milk every morning. And what are we trying to find out? A, how many days will it take Lincoln to drink 1 gallon of milk? And it says to use a number line and words. B, yes, how many days will it take Lincoln to drink 2 gallons of milk? And it says to extend your number line to 2 gallons. So let's draw a number line. And on our number line, we know we're starting with 0 gallons. And we know that he's going to drink up to 2 gallons. So let's put a 2 right there. And the whole number that's missing is 1. Okay, so he drinks 1/8 gallon. So let's go ahead. If it's 1/8 gallon each morning, we know that we have to partition into eighths. So let's partition from 0 to 1 into eighths. Very good. And from 1 to 2, we also have to partition into eighths. Excellent job. So let's do part A. It says, how many days will it take him to drink 1 gallon of milk? So from there to there, that's 1/8 gallon. So we know every day he drinks 1/8 gallon. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he will drink 1/8 of a gallon milk each day. So it will take him 8 days to drink 1 gallon. So it will take 8 days. So now we need to find out how many days it will take him to drink 2 gallon. Well, if it was 8 from 0 to, for 1 gallon, 8 days, we know that 8 plus 8 equals 16. So it will take him 16 days. So we had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 days. You need to write that in a complete sentence. Okay, good job, boys and girls. Let's keep working. So we are learning to express whole number fractions on the number line when the unit interval is 1. So I want you to draw what I have right here. Draw these 3 rectangles and draw 3 number lines. You may need to pause the video while you do that. Okay, so each rectangle represents one whole. We're going to partition the first rectangle into thirds. So that would be 3 equal parts. So the fraction would be 3 thirds, and that equals 1 whole. Okay. Now, the next rectangle we're going to partition into halves. Let me fix that a little bit better. So we're going to partition into halves. So we have 2 halves, so we're going to put 2 halves, and that's equivalent to how many wholes? Very good, 1 whole. Now the third rectangle, I want you to partition it into wholes. It's already 1 whole. So 1 over 1 equals 1 whole. So whole number fractions have the same values for the number of equal parts we're counting and the total number of equal parts. So we're counting 3 parts in the first rectangle, so that was 3 thirds, which is 1 whole. The second one, 2 parts, so that's 2 halves and 1 whole, and the third one, 1 part. So we know that an equivalent way of writing 1 whole as a fraction is to write 1 over 1. We started with 1 whole, we didn't split it into more equal parts, so the whole is still in one piece, and we're counting that one piece. So let's look at the equivalent fractions we've written for 1 on the number line. So at the bottom of the 3 wholes, we're going to mark each of the number lines with endpoints of 0 and 1. So mark this one with 0 and 1. Mark this one with 0 and 1. And mark this one with 0 and 1. So we've marked each one of those. So the first number line, let's partition it into thirds. So that would be 3 equal parts. The second one, let's partition it into halves. We have 2 equal parts. And then the last one is 1 whole. So what do you notice about the rectangles and the number lines? Yes, they're partitioned the exact same way. Okay, good job, boys and girls. Let's keep going. Don't forget to listen for the bonus word or the mystery word today. So let's go to this. I want you to draw this picture. Each rectangle represents 1 whole. So how many rectangles are in each model? Right, there are 2 rectangles in each model, so there are 2 holes in each model. So you're drawing this, you'll need to pause your video just so you can do this. So let's partition model 1 into thirds. So I'm going to partition this into thirds, and I'm going to partition over here into thirds. So both rectangles are partitioned into thirds. So how many thirds do I have? Very good. I have 6 thirds because here's 1, 2, 3 is the unit. Fractional unit is thirds. 1, 2, 3, but there are 6 of those thirds. Now let's partition the model 2 into halves. Okay, so each one has 2 equal parts. This is 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. So we would write the fraction as 4 halves. And then model 3, we're going to partition into wholes. So we have 1 whole, 1 whole. So 1 part, 1 part. So we would write that as 2 over 1. Okay. Let's do the same thing on our number lines. So we know that we have to start at 0 and go to what? 2. Very good, because there are 2 holes, so we have to make it 2. So this would be 1. Okay, so we're going to partition into thirds. So we have our 1 third, 2 thirds, 3 thirds, 4 thirds, 5 thirds, 6 thirds. Same thing here. We have 2 holes, so 1 and 2, and we're going to put our whole number, 0 and 2, and we're going to put our whole number 1 there. We're going to partition into halves, so we have 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. And then for our last one, we're going to once again label 0 and 2, and I can't get all the way down there, and 1. And we're not going to partition it anyway. We have 1 hole, 2 holes. So 2 over 1. Okay, and do you see how those, when we have partitioned them, can you see how these compare? Excellent job. So let's look at this. Now, let's look at our guided practice. Look at the first one. How many equal parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. And how many holes are there? Or how many parts are there? There are 4. So this would be 4 fourths. Okay. Now this one we have 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves. So we would write that as 4 halves. Now this one is not partitioned at all. So we have 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, 4 holes. So we'd write 4 over 1 for 4 holes. You'll need to remember this when you're doing your independent work. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Let's do this one together. So when I look at this, I have 8 equal parts, and 8 are shaded in. So that's 8 eighths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shaded in, but it's partitioned into fourths. So it's 8 fourths because this is fourths, and I have 8 fourths. And then here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes. So 8 over 1. Good job. Let's keep going. So now let's look at our number lines and let's fill in what is missing. Right here would be 0 holes, 2 holes, 4 holes, 6 holes, the 7's missing, 8 holes, 10 holes, and 12 holes. So 12 over 1. Good job. Oh, on this one we have 15 over 1, so that would be 15 holes. 16 over 1 would be 16 holes. So then we have 17 over 1, 18 over 1, 19 holes, 20 over 1, and 21 over 1. Your independent practice will be very much the same way, so keep up the good work. You can do this. So I want you to complete your problem set on the front and complete what I've given you directions to complete on the back. If you need any help, let me know. Very good job, boys and girls. Keep up the good work. And remember to look for your bonus word, your mystery word.